Okay, at the end of the last video, we had this data set entered. It only had 6 rows, and we were dealing with 2 different variables. And again, we were looking at the year and number of crimes committed. So what you may want to do from here is to take a look at this data and decide whether it is linear, quadratic, exponential, or maybe it isn't really any of those at all. So a few ways you could do that with pencil and paper is you could take a look at the dependent variable column in the table, and you could take a look at the first differences, the second differences, and you could also look at the ratios between these values. If you found the first differences to be constant, linear. Second differences were constant, you could call it quadratic, or if the ratios were constant, you could call it exponential. Now, another way to go about doing this using technology is first we can actually graph this data and we can see how it comes up. So to do that on the calculator, you want to activate the stat plot, and that's up here where my mouse is sort of hovering over. So to do that, you hit the second function button, and then you hit the y equals button. And here we go. And what we're going to want to do is to turn on plot 1. Okay, so we hit enter, and all you have to do now is hit enter again, and we've turned on that plot 1, and it should be ready to be seen. To actually see it, you go ahead and you hit graph. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that you can't see any data at all. And the reason that is because right here in the center of the graph is 0, 0, and if you count these ticks, I think you'll find that this graph runs from -10 to +10 on the x-axis and -10 to +10 on the y-axis, which isn't going to do, because if you come and look at our values here, our lowest value is 2,622,453, which is a lot bigger than 10. So the easiest way to go about doing this is to click zoom, and now we've got all these different options. But if we scroll down to the bottom to option 9, so we can either just go ahead and hit 9 or scroll over to 9 and hit enter, we hit 9, and all of a sudden what's happened is it is automatically zoomed in to show us where all of our values are. Now, this bar here still represents when x is 0, so that's when the year is 0, so that's our lowest value there. And up here, so this is 0, 1, 2. In our third year, we have our highest value here, 2,863,255. Now what you would be able to do from here is you could look at this scatter plot here, and you could decide whether you think this is a good linear model, quadratic, or maybe exponential would be the best model for this situation. And I think you can look at that and probably come to your own conclusions based on the fact that it rises and then falls. So the next video is going to take a look at actually doing the analysis and taking a look at these 3 different types of models and actually deciding which one of them fits best. But for now, based on a scatter plot, you could go ahead and make your own inferences as to which model fits the best.